GM, wake up, let's go. Web 2, Web 3, stay in the know. Action, Dabatola, Toki in the zone. Breaking down the latest, straight to your phone. From Web 2 shifts to Web the waves. News, deep dives, hot takes for days. Tech's evolving, the world's in spin. Markets move, let's lock it in. Genzio's here, no time to snooze. Tune in now, get the news. GM, wake up, let's go. Web 2, Web 3, stay in the know. GM, start the show. GM, wake up, let's go. Web 2, stay in the know. GM, start the show. GM, let's go. Web 2, stay in the know. GM, start the show.
What's going on, my beautiful people in Web3? So excited to come to you guys on a Friday where we're having some pretty cool stuff happening all around the globe. Specifically today, we got that crypto summit happening in DC. Kind of wild to think about that. They opened the White House to do a crypto summit. I mean, this is definitely unlike anything we've seen before. It's pretty exciting. I'm really excited about what's happening. Ooh. Cool. So I do have guests. I do have more people showing up, but I did not want to delay the stream. I got caught up a little bit on a space. You guys know I do that every once in a while. So I want to make sure that I hopped on as quickly as I possibly could. We do have more people showing up, like I said, and it's going to be a big old fun time. Now, I do have to talk to you guys about what people are saying in regards to the crypto summit versus what it actually might be. Yesterday, we saw the markets dump a little bit, and it was all because Trump signed that executive order in regards to having a stockpile of assets and Bitcoin specifically. But then he's like, we're not buying anything. We're just going to hold things that we get from scammers, basically. And the market did not enjoy that too much. So here's a way that you can counteract that. First thing, please make sure you like and share the stream out so more people can listen and watch and see what's going on in this space. That's not what I was going to say. I was going to say that you can actually talk about it. Like, seriously talk about it, because I want to show you how this crazy little world works. I'm going to share my screen just so you can see how the media is a bunch of jerks sometimes and doesn't actually relay the truth, I guess, is the best way to kind of talk about this. Let me hide all these files. Actually, I'm going to go to google.com because that's the best way for you guys to see what the narrative they want you to see is. I'm going to hit share, get it out on screen, make sure you guys can see everything okay. Let me pick this one. You see that? Yeah, that works. That works. I'm going to fix my size here, my window size. Oh, that's interesting. All right, let me try this again because it did not share the way I wanted it to. Share screen. I want to share Chrome tab. Boom. There you go. Now it works. Now, the only way I can make this look better is by clicking this button right here and adding Scott to the stage. What's going on, man? Oh, you're muted. Or you got the wrong microphone selected. Because I see you unmuted. Go ahead. We're going to try to read lips. Actually, this is a segment that I really want to try with these guys. I'm going to say something and they have to try to read my lips and they're going to get it wrong over and over again. So it's going to be hilarious until they finally get it right. Kind of like the late night show where they put a headphone. It's like music playing. They were like,
what? You don't hear me?
I hear you now.
All right. There we go. Sorry, everyone. I from ETH Denver, putting all the stuff back together. And then, of course, my webcam does the one thing that I've been trying to get it to do since I bought it a year ago, which is actually flip vertically. And like, for doing TikToks and other videos, and it would just not switch back over. And then I don't know. I got it worked out. So we're here.
Who
And
knew the Dabatola was a TikToker?
yeah. Well, no, not really. I guess if it made it in those verticals, then I would use it.
No, I got you. All right. So Scott, take a look at this thing. I'm gonna do a crypto summit search on Google. I just want to show people what people are saying versus what people are really saying. So I'm gonna go ahead and Google search. Live update. Trump threatens to sanction Russia. Like, I don't know what this has anything to do with the crypto summit. It's kind of amazing. Then you have Trump creates Bitcoin reserve ahead of a White House crypto summit. It doesn't have any actual news about what this thing is actually happening. So
there was a bunch of conflicting information I saw.
I
like
know.
They were talking about like signing the crypto reserve, but was it like what's it actually include? Like there's just some very mucky area about some of these things, and it's sort of weird because it's on the heels of this summit that's happening in like another hour or two. I saw that there's a few live streams that's going to be going. I'm sure there's going to be a handful of people in the crypto space just sort of streaming along and kind of talking about it a little bit. I know there's been some fake.
This is what they're pushing, right? Like Trump's first White House crypto summit has VIPs pushing for favorable laws. Like it's all hype, man. It's like at least mainstream media. That's what it looks like. It's just all stinking hype. Like this is terrible. How can people do this?
No. The hype factor. Okay. I'm going to say the little difference with the hype factor, in my opinion, here is that this is good. We have politicians. We have the president actually addressing and talking about crypto. So, I mean, this is hype it up as much as you want. I saw there was fake lists going around. I don't know if we have one on the screen that we could pull up that was going on like around Twitter of all the people that are going to be there. I'm not sure who the actual confirmed guests are right now, but it's going to be interesting to see. Wasn't Charles kind of complaining about not being invited? I heard some rumor about that.
I thought he did get an invite. What are you talking about?
I don't know. I thought he didn't get an invite, and somebody was saying he was complaining that he didn't. They're like, well, why don't you just say I should be there? I don't know. I'll have to go through Twitter. I mean, it was early this morning. There was lots of random stuff.
That's hilarious. I mean, yeah, Charles should be able to get in there. I mean, I know a bunch of people that are going. So like, if I pushed hard enough, I could have gotten there. Like, I'm sure Charles can get in there, dude.
Yeah, but do you want to be there?
No, that's why I'm not there. That's why I'm here. I've been traveling enough. Like, this is not a flex or anything. I'm literally happy to be home. Like, I'm really happy to be home.
No, I hear you. It's been a long week and a half. I couldn't have stayed out any longer. I'm kind of curious about what we're going to hear, though, and this circus, and at least it's pushing in the right direction of possibly getting some laws or something. At least a discussion. We didn't have that before.
Laws, man. Just clarity would be enough.
Yeah, I mean, there's things that were said, but they're not. I don't want to call them laws. They're not structured out there. Like they could say a bunch of stuff, but until lots of companies know that they're not going to be prosecuted, there's not going to be any repercussions for different things, they're not going to make the move. Like a lot of these bigger companies need to see black and white, like, yes, we could do this. So,
I mean, the crazy part is that the people trying to do it legally and make sure that they're not getting in trouble, they're the ones kind of not winning as much as they should be because they're holding back on really trying something new. This space is full of innovators, and I can't stress this enough. Innovators, they don't necessarily care about laws or regulations. They want to innovate. They want to make the next really cool thing. However, they don't like jail.
No, you got to stay out of jail. I mean,
so they don't because of that, right? Like a lot of times they're holding back because they don't want to spend time in the clinker.
I just keep going back to D-Pin Day like a month or so ago, where like the one thing that I heard that was takeaway was like, you don't want to go to jail. Like, figure out all your stuff, RWA, whatever it might be, whatever you're working on, but figure it out, the legality, and you do not want to go to jail.
That was Mr. Hyle Files over there. He's like, hey, 2 things that companies need to really work towards, and it's in this order. 1, stay out of jail. 2, make money. But number 1 comes first.
You got to stay out of jail. Definitely.
Shout out SBF for not doing that. Dude, he just did a conversation. Yeah, he just did a podcast from jail. That's what I was gonna say. I didn't know there was that much lenience. See, in jail, you could actually do podcasts from, like, what is this? What world are we living? I mean, you even have.
Well, then that means
really
the next one's going to be Diddy. That means the next one's going to be Diddy from there. Diddy's own podcast.
Yeah, you know who it was? Joe Exotic. Joe Exotic kicked it off. So we got to.
Oh, is he the original?
Yeah, he's the one that's kind of started this, but he was going on Spaces. We had him join a few Spaces. It's hilarious. I was like, wait, you talked to who? I was like, yeah, Joe, the guy that we kind of spent COVID watching, the dumpster fire of a show. Yeah. Well, I talked to him. She's like, why? I didn't have an answer to that, by the way.
What time was this thing supposed to be at? Is it like 1 Eastern? Is it 12 Eastern? Do you know the time specifically?
It's supposed to be in about an hour, I believe.
So 1 Eastern.
I don't know.
Looking at the market, funny. Like, you had last night, maybe like a big scam wick down to, almost.
Show us, Scott. We got to see it.
I don't have
it real unless you pull it up.
My screen share. Let me see if we could. Here, share yours.
You want to pull up Bitcoin?
Yeah, pull up Bitcoin on your screen here.
I can do that for you.
How do we do this? Do we want this layout? No.
Keep clicking.
I don't know your layouts. There we go. That's the thing. That's what everyone says in crypto. Just keep clicking and watch your money go away. Just keep clicking.
I'm trying to get the right Zoom set up here for you. There you go. Is that okay? This is the last 24 hours.
God. So look at that. 85. Back up a little bit, up to 91. We're 87, I'll call it. I mean, look, it takes some money.
Volume is up.
It takes money to move. I mean, it takes volume. It takes some money, like trading, to move Bitcoin between 85 and 91. Like, there is some hard manipulation going on there. And with all these announcements or things, look, if we're hearing about crypto reserve or the summit or this or that, there's other people that obviously know way before us. So I look at some of the stuff that comes out. I look at how the market's been reacting over the last, few days. And I'm like, wow, there's some people making some money off of it. I mean, not me. I'm not trading this because I wouldn't have guessed how sharp of a drop in return we would have had where there's that one insider account that did that 50x, right? Pulled like 6-7 million on Bitcoin and Ethereum. And then literally when it was at that top, shorted it back down to this. So things like that seem to line up too nicely for a few. It's like, if you saw the trade, I don't know if you saw the numbers, but to get liquidated on that 50x was like 500 points. You know what I mean? It was nothing. The risk versus reward, we're doing a multi-million trade like that was just not,
So I may or may not have buy set at 85. So last time we hit 84.9. I didn't get it. No,
okay.
I set this up afterwards. I actually bought at 87. Actually, I hit this. I bought a little bit at 87 because I had some buys there. But like now that I saw that it can go to 85, shoot, I'm going to put some buys at 85. Why not? Well, if it hits, happy day. If it doesn't, I'm okay with it.
I mean, with everything going on, do you feel that at this current price that we could have
Lazarus back there? Shout out Lazarus.
Oh, there we go, right there. Oh, no, hold on, pull that chart back up.
We're still here. Well, I got you.
Look at this. So I actually pull it back on like the week. Put it on a 7-day. We dropped down to was it before that? Let me see. Under 82. Where were we there?
I messed that up. Hang on, let me go a month.
Under
Where's the
82.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm looking at mine at the drop to 78, 79. There we go.
Yeah. That
Um,
was on the 28th.
so do you think, like, in your opinion, we know that when you zoom out and you look back over these cycles in a traditional cycle with a bull run, you'll see a handful of 10, 20, 30% pullbacks and then, jumps back up or whatever. Do you think that this was this initial or this full first significant pullback since we saw Bitcoin, break that 100K? And do you think that from here over, the next week or two, maybe we start, let's say, trending up and move to that next leg up? Or do you still think there's more room based off of news, current events, stuff like that, world taxing, all that we could actually see maybe even a drop from here, like a pullback into the, the 70s?
All right, so things are being manipulated so much that I don't think we won't see a pullback again, first off. And can we go lower than, what was it? 79, I think is what we hit.
78.1, I think on
yeah.
one of mine at Wick too.
I think we can go lower than that. Is it likely? No, it's not likely. I think there is probably like a 20% chance of that happening. But again, there, like we watched in that movie, I'm saying there's a chance.
Yeah, no, I mean, I just saw how drastic it was. 96 to 78 pretty quickly. And then I
got to get Noah to help out with charts and this stuff, man. But for me,
yeah, we definitely need to hit up the chart wizard and maybe starting next week with some of this, put in a small 10, 15 minute section with charting and doing some TA on this and get some expert analysis on this.
Can I do it? Sure. I don't have time to do it, man. I don't have time to actually.
No, but the thing is, I mean,
but
we can do it, but do we want it from a pro? Do we want it from somebody who knows exactly, who's been making right calls, like pretty much, 90% accuracy or more for as long as I've known him? So I definitely want to get a couple charts read for us, maybe for next week. We'll see what happens over the weekend, and maybe on Monday's stream we could get that off and really start next week with a little bit of market analysis so people will know, and then move on to some of the other things, what's hot, alpha, and so on.
I do love that.
People want to make money. That's the thing, is people want to make money. Look, I don't care if you're degen trading. I don't care if you're trying to make gaming and trading in-item games, or selling them, or charting, or trading traditional markets. Like, at the end of the day, I hate saying this, like, people tune in, people scrub Twitter in the trenches because they want the alpha. They want to know, how can I make some money? Like, help me, and I think by providing some of that charts, and we'll be able to do that.
All right. So I love reading narratives, right? Like looking at patterns that are happening in crypto outside of the charts itself, because the charts are supposed to reflect what's actually happening in the space. Doesn't always 100% play out that way, but it allows you to understand why we are what we are. I think that's a big deal. And I will say, like, one thing that's missing from this market that we've had at every other bull run is money printing. It's the one thing. It is literally the one.
Get some of that, right? Isn't there rumors of some money?
There's no rumors. They're saying they're going to do it, and it's not money printing. It's money being handed back to the people.
Well, you got to print it and then hand it out.
It's all digital, bro. They just drop it.
Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah. There's no printing no more.
Printing.
No, but like, it's actually not printing, because the money has already been printed. It's just been allocated to something else, and it's going to be
just taken away.
Yeah, it's going to be taken away from all the garbage that they've been cutting and put back into the hands of the people. When that happens, mark my words, there's going to be two pops. First is when they announce that people are going to get it, and then you're going to get another huge wick when people actually get the money. So as soon as the announcement is official, again, not financial advice. This is just what I expect to see, just because
everyone's going to get their checks and dump it into meme coins and get wrecked.
Oh, for sure. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I think that the initial pump is going to be on the announcement, not necessarily when they actually receive it.
So I'll agree. I think we're going to see that overall market and in crypto. I just don't think it's going to be as significant as it was during COVID. And
because people are home and bored.
Well, that and NFTs drove that cycle like so much, and people were sitting home, you know, trading JPEGs in a sense or collecting them, and I feel like a lot of people got onboarded because of that, and that's where a lot of that money went. This time, this cycle, I think people who might have got burned or are down on that might not have fully hopped into meme coins either. So it might be a little bit more cautious this time around. Um, I would like to see people, if they get money, you know, put it into Bitcoin, put it into some of these big projects, because that could help overall. You know, you'd like to see Bitcoin keep trending up. You'd like to see ETH go up. You'd like to see these mid and big caps go up, and some new people come in. New people aren't going to come in if they come in and then they just like put a couple thousand in or 1,000 in. They're like, oh, I'm going to buy this token or whatever and get rugged. It's going to be very discouraging. It's hard enough. There's hard enough barriers for entry as it is. But then if you lose your money like that, I don't know. On the flip side, there's a lot of degen gamblers who, look for the quick flip. And
I agree, but there's still plenty of room for your L1s and L2s to move. Like that's the narrative that people haven't caught on. I think that we're going to see
they're sleeping.
Yeah, exactly. There's going to be a huge pullback as far as the number of L2s that are there, because most of them need to just die off. Like I don't know how to say it. Like,
well, the L1s, I feel like this cycle is not the cycle that L1 should be popping off or launching. I think that was a little bit more in last cycle. I do know of a couple that have been pretty much building since the end of last cycle that are now just coming about that will do amazing things, and I think the competition on L1s is a lot less right now. So, and look at this is one of those.
Yeah, this is one of them. They're hosting a space right now. I'm supposed to be there, hanging out with some of these cool people like Sando Crypto.
Look at that! You are hanging out regardless.
Well,
speaking though,
I just joined just to show you guys what it is, but you get
no
it.
Quai Network. We talked with them at ETH Denver. We've been in pretty early. I don't even know how long. Well over a year now. Everything they said was awesome. And you know what? Actually, this reminds me, because you had sent me over a photo, a couple of those coupons or those get some free Quai. So if you're watching a little bit after this, I'm going to tweet probably within the next hour or two, and I'll put up a couple tickets or QR codes there that you could get, I think 20 Quai each. So if you wanted to see what it's about, you could get that, scan that, get the wallet, grab those, and then hold on to it. And actually there's a couple of memes that are starting to pop off on there as well too. So, maybe if you're just looking to take that, 20 Quai, you could always, put half of it into, like, I think Soon is actually a good meme that's over there, and you never know what happens. Those guys are grinding, and I really see them doing well over the next year and beyond. So,
I'll be honest, I want to work with them.
Yeah, no,
I really do. Like, they're really okay. I got a chance to sit down with them. Like, this is the cool thing about ETH Denver. So let's talk about ETH Denver for a second. I got to meet and engage and have a good time with a lot of different people, and Quai was one of those people, right? Dr. K over there, like, the dude has more chickens than I do. Like, we basically, kind of went down the road of like, did we just become best friends? Like, I'm him and he is me in a lot of ways, and like we just connected in like such a cool way. Like, the dude's a genius. I'm just half a little autistic here, and I try to get by, but dude is a freaking genius. Like,
also most of the team I saw, like, there was a bunch of them from Texas, so I was like, oh,
they are
nice. Okay, cool. Yeah. There's some more people out here doing things, and that's awesome.
I love those guys, man. They've been doing a good job. I'm excited for what they're up to. I know you're excited about Cadena, right?
So
your love-hate relationship with them. Go ahead.
We've had this love-hate relationship with Cadena, especially because coming off last cycle, there was a lot of hype, and then there was a lot of projects that we know that we're trying to build, whether it was for NFTs that got you mining rewards, or different platforms. Majority of them just didn't make it, and I think there was a a big disconnect from the team trying to get people on and get them building, because that's essentially what you need. You need people to be building on your blockchain, developing, and they are helping bring more users in to use all that. Now, the good thing I want to say is when we were at ETH Denver, we saw the founder out. We saw the whole, like a significant part of the team out. You had an amazing interview with a couple of them, which is going to come out. And then we had long discussion with Mike, the CMO, and Carl. And we really got the inside scoop on the direction they're going, some of the challenges that they've had and where they're trying to go. Now, someone who nearly lost hope on that for a while is actually reevaluating
somebody
that.
who lost money, you said?
No, I'm not. I didn't lose money.
Me neither.
I actually have a moon bag, and I'd like to see this go back up to all-time highs, because then my moon bag would generate me just a ton. Like I'm good.
Look at that. Look at that wick, man. $22.25, and then we go.
But I just didn't add at the lower prices here because I think, or thought that there could be other projects as an investor where I might be able to get a 10x from current prices right now in the market. Now, do I think that this is still possible for Kadena? Like when we're talking price talk, I actually do. I think if the things
I didn't before Denver.
No, I didn't exactly before Denver. No, but now, oh shoot, my headset's coming out. But now actually I do, and I'm excited with what they're doing with all the chains, EVM, and that I think that's going to bring in more people building, bring liquidity in, and that could be exactly what they need. Now, do I think they should, like last cycle, there was a lot of like retail, like people aiming towards retail? I think they have a really good shot on the back end with the business to business plays and providing, like, look, every company doesn't need to be known by the public for everything that they do and you be all about it, right? There's so many major companies that operate that you have no idea about. I'm just saying in general, not just Web3, just across the world in general, that provide critical infrastructure or financial support or whatnot, that are huge, huge money makers and doing extremely well, right? So every company in Web3 and crypto doesn't have to be this, out there public in front of everyone. They could be providing structure and infrastructure behind the scenes for businesses, and be actually more profitable and be bringing in more revenue that way and have a lot more volume and have a lot more transactions. So I don't know. I think that is a light at the end of the tunnel for me with some of these.
And is it a train?
Is it a train? I hope the train comes through the light at the end of the tunnel and smacks me right in my face and says, you know what? You were wrong. This is flipped around. This is going to be awesome. And you better, grab a little bit more while it's still, 50 cents or under $1 or something like that.
Yeah.
I think honestly, look, not financial advice, but when you have a token that's, it's at 50 cents, but we saw everything and heard everything that's going on. I mean, even during this last year, it had gone up to what, almost $2 or maybe around that. It had like a fluctuation. I still think that you're going to see that and maybe beyond. So, I'm trying to enter this new year, or entered this new year 2025 with looking at the glass half full as opposed to half empty. And in order to keep that look, going to the teams, digging in, finding out the info that we need, and trying to bring that to people out there so that they're better educated and they know what's going on. So I'm looking for some good announcements from Kadena. We'll see what happens. I know that we're going to talk to Mike and Carl and them coming up a bit, and hopefully they could leak some alpha to us that we'll be allowed to leak, and we'll see.
I didn't sign NDA. I didn't sign NDA.
Well, now if they're watching, they're going to be like, all right, emailing action, NDA. No, but yeah, no, it was a great conversation with them over there. And I can't wait till your interviews are posted, because I think the community be really, really amped up about that. I think a lot of people that might have been a little bit bummed over the last couple of years will see that, hey, look, things are on track. and they got a plan.
I agree completely. Somebody else that I'm excited about this cycle that I have already talked about, and y'all could have, what are we at? We went from 5 cents and now we're sitting at 23 cents is Hedera.
Yo,
I got the hat
I love
and
Hedera.
the shirt to show for it.
Man, where are my stickers? I have a bunch of them over here. I actually have grown now to love Hedera. Now, I wasn't too stoked on them prior, right? Coming up over the last year and a half or 2 years. But then with their huge support of Karate Combat and what an amazing organization and project that is, I really was like, that's awesome. Hedera is supporting them, making this happen, right? But then even on this trip, going to HederaCon, talking with some of the other projects that are being built on Hedera and Hedera themselves, like, and not to mention with President Trump and the whole USA thing. And I mean, I think they're really slated to do great things. It was up into the like mid 30s. And I know that when my mentality switched on Hedera a bit was when I was in Bangkok in November. And I was just like, I think it was like 5-6 cents, maybe 5. And I just was like, you know what? I'm aping in. I'm here for Karate Combat. I'm involved with all this. Like, why do I not have a huge bag of this? So aped in a huge bag and then instantly watched it like 5-6x. I was like, all right, cool. And now they're just, HederaCon was awesome and I'm ready to go. Let's keep it going.
It's kind of wild, like how excited I am about some of these projects, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh yeah, they're cool. But then you meet them in person, you see who's building and what these guys are all about, and you're like, oh yeah, this is legit. This is real. Like, I'm gonna get behind it. I mean, that's what happened with Cadena. That's what a lot of people saw with Hedera. I mean, these guys are already almost top 10 in market cap.
You said it, like with the projects talking. I think that was probably Cadena's biggest thing that hurt them is the founders and the key people not coming out and speaking more, with engaging more.
Right?
What?
Not being public facing.
Yeah, with the community. And now from going to the event, you could see it and you could hear it when you talk to them. They're excited. They want to get back in front of people and they want to show and tell everyone what's going on. So, like I said, hopefully your interview is going to be edited or it's not really edited, but put together. It's a long interview and hopefully you'll get to drop that soon.
That's the hope, man. That's the hope, because they did have a lot of good things to share. And like, I didn't hold back. Like, I asked hard questions too. I think that's the fun part of it. It's just being honest. Like, a lot of people, they rather have I don't know, we'll look into it, I'll figure it out, then we don't need to worry about that. Let's skip the question. Like, just being honest and open about stuff makes a huge difference in the space.
Well, while you say you ask hard questions, I think you ask the right questions, because not every question is supposed to be kind of like a layup in these things. I see a lot of interviews that happen with projects where it's kind of a layup. They're thrown like underhand, questions like here, let me give you a soft pitch here, and they get to explain. Now, sure, that's great in some situations, like, I'll say more like
bit of that. Like, you need a little bit of that to get the conversation going and understand where they're headed.
But maybe even like a space.
Yeah, like, but once they tell you what's up, like, that's when you go in.
Because I look at it like there's a lot of great spaces, and that's a good platform to talk about your project, go more in depth, talk about all the good things and sort of those layup kind of questions or answers, right? But in an interview, you want to cover, the things that people want to know, but there's a lot of stuff that you really got to dig in, because people are investing and putting their money in there, and a lot of people have questions, and you get those questions from the community. We see this, we hear this, and then you put it together and you want it, like, so getting responses on those is huge. And often, look, sometimes you hear stuff that you don't necessarily want to hear, right? But you get the answer, and then you get the plan or what's being done about it, positive or negative. And that's big. Everything isn't just like, roses all the time. There's problems.
Are you
Did I
saying that it's not always rainbows and butterflies? It's compromise
it.
that moves us along.
Yeah, that's a better analogy there. Everything can't be rainbows and butterflies.
Thanks, Maroon 5. All right.
Oh, man.
What are we looking forward to this weekend, this next week? What should be on the lookout for
This weekend?
this weekend and going into
Sorry, I'm already like, I hate saying this. I'm already like 2 months ahead in my mind. Like I'm looking forward to Token 2049 and Sui Base Camp. Like I saw that they're happening the same week and a KC fight, and we're gonna be out there. And I'm just like, oh my God, that's amazing. And then I know there's like Paris Blockchain Week and a couple other things. And I'm like, I'm not a huge fan of Paris. If anyone else wants to go do that, go, like 2 months from now, crazy thing. So like, I feel that so much changes on a day to day, but at least for me, I have an anchor point about 2 months out right now. A stream that we're going to do amazing. And we got a whole bunch of other stuff that we're planning to do throughout that week. So I'm just fired up about, what's coming up. And also, the other thing with doing, working with Genzio now is I'm starting to see a lot of the spaces that are coming up, and I'm excited about a couple of those. And I'm trying to bring in a couple speakers for one in particular coming up that I know will be fun. So there's lots of good stuff. That's next week though. That's the shorter term.
Can you give us a little hint what's going on here?
I can't tell you who because I haven't messaged him yet.
You don't have to tell me who. Like, but it's like, what's the space? The
space is going to be. We're going to talk a little bit about that whole Bybit exploit and different exploits and stuff going on. So there's a couple people that were pretty vocal. And the thing I liked about it is one in particular that was vocal is involved with a wallet and involved with doing, multi-sig and lots of bigger transactions. So I want to hear, if God, I don't even want to spoil it because I know there's one thing he's going to say immediately. Like, what about, so look, I think that's on the 12th. We'll put out some stuff about that. But I'm looking forward to trying to get some interesting people that I know with projects involved with some of these spaces that Genzio hosts. I mean, there's awesome people that attend, awesome people on the panel, and we find out, just all that alpha. Hold on 1 second. The dog is on out.
Hey dog. What up, dog?
Yeah, this is a quick get this space or get this together this morning. Like, still unpacking.
I want to get your honest takes on something. This show should be like Dab Takes. That should just be like the name of this show.
No. What's that thing that Family Guy did? You know what really grinds my gears? Do we need what
really grinds? We can come up with a graphic for that.
We got to come up with something for for me. What really dabs my dab or something? I don't know. So
I have been engagement farming on X, but it's honest, true, and just coming from a good place in my heart. I don't know how to say it. Like, I'll give you an example. Like, this is my GM post for
GM.
Yeah, I mean, this is Hannah. Hannah kicked butt at ETH Denver, making things happen. Like, she's in the background, nobody sees her, but she's getting it done. Look at that little special badge. She's like a council member and all that good stuff, but nobody gets to see her. So like when I do these GM posts, that there's no question about it. Yes, I'm quote unquote engagement farming, the GM aspect of it, because the search engine optimization that is pretty good, so people actually see those. But more than that, I want to highlight people. I want to make sure that people are getting recognition they deserve. I want to make sure I'm highlighting the good people in the space. To me, that is the proper way to engagement farm. It's like just be decent, be nice to people. Mm-hmm. But then you have I'm going to go back so I can just really put it on screen real quick. We have things like this. How do you feel about posts like this, Scott?
Let me scroll down. I didn't even play that.
I remember playing this as a kid for hundreds of hours.
Like, I don't care.
Like this is the very like this week has been plastered with do you remember, are you this old? Do you remember being this old? Like,
I actually have seen a bunch of that, and I'm like, even some of these things, like, I'm old, but I don't remember that. Does that mean I'm like really too old? Like too old to have missed that in that You
Charles
know,
is like your age, bro. Like I was a
that's
kid
the thing.
when
No, that's the
3D
thing.
pinball came out for Windows. I was a kid. He wasn't.
Google his age. Google his age because you're going to be surprised at his age.
What do you
Google
mean?
it. I say this joking around. I know you know him and interviewed him and do things with him, but I'm like, I have this thing where I picture him as being like, you know, a single dad with 3 boys living in a log cabin, like in the woods. He's like about 54 years old. You know, that's his background story to me. When really he's what, 30
Bro,
something?
he's my age.
He's what? Yeah, he's like mid 30s, right?
He's 37. He's
Yeah.
like 4 months older than me.
Yeah, but when you see him and the way he dresses and, you know, presents himself or whatever, couldn't you picture him like he's got like, you know, a cabin like in the woods and he's just got like, you know, a couple boys that he's like yelling out the window, like, come on, chop that wood faster, you know, shit like that. And then, you know, but he's like early 50s. I mean, I don't know. That's sort of the initial impression. I'm glad he's, you know, a computer wizard and Web3 wizard and has all this stuff going on. But, you know, I picture him like yelling at his boys to stop messing around on the dock before someone gets hurt. You know, I don't know.
That's insane.
I don't even think he has kids, but that's what makes it even better.
That's literally insane that he is 37. Like
You thought he was more my age, right?
I thought he was closer to your age for sure.
And for those who don't know, I'm quite old. I'm in my 40s. So
you're not that old.
But yeah, look, you're still in shock. That's what happened with me. I was like, there's no way. So this is why when you interviewed him about if he would fight at Karate Combat and IFC, I'm like, but he is not. He was like, oh, I'm too old and fat for that or whatever. And you're like, yeah, we have plenty of those. And it's true because there's a lot of people who fought that were in 30s or early, even mid 40s. I think the first IFC, there was, you know, a couple people in their mid 40s. So there is no excuse for him. He could still do this.
That's insane, dude.
Maybe when the bull runs over, and maybe he'll have some time to do it. Or maybe he'll have time to do it since he didn't get invited to this DC thing. Oh, I joke. I need to look it up. I mean, if he's going to be there or not, that could just be a rumor.
This is crazy. All right. So here's the website. I'll show you what it is. It's a Diga Rec Alliance. If you guys haven't seen these guys, they're pretty awesome that they're coming together. Like a lot of people are coming together. This is the video right on the homepage here. So you have Algorand, Daria, Cardano, Ripple, like all of these Alliance members trying to figure out the best way to not lose people's wallets, right? And having a way to recover that. So if you hit play on this video, this is the video right here. You go to 54 minutes and 37 seconds. Make sure I get that audio on. Let me know if you can hear it. You know, can you hear it? Well,
Yep.
I'll just come out and say it. Karate Combat is on Hedera, and a lot of people want to fight you, Charles, on Karate Combat. Is that something you're interested? I'm totally joking. You don't have to answer that. I am just a joke.
No, I think I'm a bit old and fat for these types of. I'm more than happy to be in the audience.
There are other old and fat people looking to fight you.
Right.
That's what the IFC is for.
It's like
I love like Charles and even they're like
John was the first one that just cracked a smile. As soon as it came out, he was just like, "How am I going to hold this in?"
I don't know how I get away with asking that crowd to people, man, but I'm so happy I do.
No, but you know, the other thing we got to hold him to then is especially because we're going to be going to a bunch of these coming up, is, you know, connecting with him, and he wants to go. It's like, yeah, no problem. Come on, we'll get you. Come pit side. Come join our desk. Say a few words. Let us know what you think. And
oh yeah, that's a great idea. Yo, Charles, come on out. Like, we'd love to have you sit for a minute and like talk about what you think.
I mean, he said he would go out and do that, and it's a good way to connect with, connect with the audience, the audience, so connect with holders, connect with people, and be present. And I'll tell you, going to a lot of these events, when you see founders and you see important people in the projects out there, and connecting and getting a quick second to say what's up is huge. I mean, like, as big as Web3 is, it's also very small. And you know, I think the people who do make it out to events, you have to really be in it. I mean, it's hard to just be a regular retail investor and go to a conference unless it's, well, ETH Denver, because we preached that the whole time. It was like, hey, it's free. It's actually cheap to fly out here. If you're local, there's no excuse. Otherwise, you could spend $500 on a plane ticket and a couple nights in a hotel and go to a free conference and see all that from the building to all the booths, right? But think about all the other conferences from Bitcoin to token to wherever if they're not in the States, you know, $1,000+ international plane ticket, hotels, everything that comes with that. And then on top of it, you know, tickets that range anywhere from, you know, 500-600 up to thousands.
Oh yeah.
And if you're a retail investor, as much as you want to go and learn and connect, if it was going to cost you
up, man.
$2,000 or $3,000, I would, in that position, and I have years ago, would take that money as opposed to going to the conference and invest it into my conviction plays or other projects, and then just hope that a lot of the speeches and different things were, you know, released.
And there's nothing wrong with that. That's actually not a bad thing at all to do that. Like that's just a smart move. Any other highlights from ETH Denver? Because I have a big one.
You know, there's really too many. I think the whole thing for me was a huge highlight because this is the first trip that I came out with Genzio, and thank you Action and the entire Genzio team, and everyone I met was amazing. And it was awesome to see like 40+ people that were just so driven, you know, working on all different elements that covered all of ETH Denver to even the side project like the Crypto Bachelor that's going to be huge. That's coming out on 4/20. So there's that, to me, I think was the highlight. Usually I spend a lot of time at side events and networking that way, but I spend a lot of time with the different people from the team during the conference and connected with just so many people. And I didn't even have to go out and stay out late at night to continue the conversations because I've had so many during the day. So that was huge. And of course we met lots of projects and interesting people, but I want to say that the highlight is, you know, meeting people in real life, and especially meeting and finding out that the entire team is just full of amazing, smart, motivated people. And it just makes me that much more excited about things coming up. Like if that was just the first one and we're just getting like cooking, like what's going to happen when we're at the next one and we're starting to like, you know, do the desk and everything else. It's just going to go from here. And I hope that we'll just be able to continue providing value. I don't want to ever be seen as somebody extracting. I want to, if I get to go to these events with an amazing team, I want to be able to provide as much information to everyone that's out there watching and engaging.
And that's why I invited you out, because your heart's in the right place, dude. But just expect that the way that the crew was at ETH Denver, the way we were hanging out, the way that we talked to all sorts of different people, the way that we did interview, all that stuff. Well, the only thing that changes is the location we're doing that at. It's still the same thing. So I promise you're going to have a blast. Doesn't matter where we go. And yeah, bringing back some of that information, I think, is a big deal. This past, conference, ETH Denver, I got to do this little fun thing here. Let me put it on screen. Remember that?
Yeah, I was on a space this morning, and oh yeah, you're gonna have to place. But I was on a space this morning where, you know, Ben came up and, you know, as love him or hate him, and there's all sorts of stuff out there.
People love to hate him.
Yeah, some people love to hate him. You know, I hope everything. I like to see a good redemption story. I hope that all parties involved. I wish everything, you know, the best, and that good things, you know, come from this, and that everything gets back on track in one way. Seems like stuff's a little all over the place, and, you know, I don't think anyone truly knows the depths of what's going on. But
yeah,
you know, you gotta take a step back and realize this is, you know, this is another human being. This is a person who's been in the space for a long time, who did provide a lot of great information to people over the years. And
well, he onboarded so many people, man.
Yeah. And the thing is that, you know, people have ups and downs in their lives, and, you know, who am I to judge? You know, I've had my ups and downs as well. And I just want to see people come out on top And I hope that everything ends up well. And you're right. He onboarded so many people and brought so many people into crypto that, you know, you can't deny the facts. And he was very, very consistent for a long time. And I hope that things get cleared up and he finds his focus again, and he finds his love for Web3 and crypto, and is able to, you know, provide value again at some point. But you got to play that, because you had an amazing look. You were the only one who had an interview with him. I know he was doing the book and some of these other releases, but you had like an unedited, just straight interview with him.
You got about 5 words in.
Yeah, no, but the thing was, you wanted to let him get out whatever he wanted to get out. And yeah, I think, you know,
and
awesome.
I will say,
and you had some fun with it.
I learned some of this stuff from Ben himself. He talks about how you got to keep people engaged. You got to make sure that you keep people on their toes, say things that they're not expecting, you know, like make sure that people understand that there has to be an edge to conversations just like this.
What I should have done is I should have told my wife, Bethany, that I was unhappy with her and that I was bored in our marriage and that I needed more excitement. And I knew that our paths were going on 2 different ways. That's what I should have done. And I was a pussy and I didn't do it. Instead, I made the action happen to me instead of taking control of the narrative. And that is why at this point I decided to do something different and take control of the narrative finally.
You should have some of that medication, try acting.
Yeah.
Try acting like a man.
What I should have done is I should
that was definitely the joke of the trip.
Denver.
Yeah, beat Denver, and you squeeze that in there, and you know, in all seriousness,
I don't know. I mean,
it was funny, and after the fact, I think he realized it was like, you know, just having some fun, and you know,
no, and that's the thing. Like, people look at him as being this like terrible person. I don't think he's a terrible person. I think he's done terrible things that I disagree with, but doesn't make him necessarily a terrible person. He can still take a joke. More than that, that's more than I can say about a lot of other people in this space.
The thing is that even beyond that, like, I don't know about you, but if I had all those things going on in my life and was trying to work all that out, I probably wouldn't be out public on my stuff or like wearing my emotions on my sleeve. I mean, you know, I think that he's just been doing content and been live and been in this space for so long doing that's what he knows. And I think a lot of people are kind of like, you know, why are you saying this or doing that? But that's what he knows. That's how he communicates. He's been using YouTube, Twitter, and all this for years upon years. And you know, like I said, I hope and I think that, you know, things will hopefully get better for him. And yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, otherwise the space is just going to keep moving. That's the one thing, is
he's going to keep moving regardless. Like,
yeah,
Ben is just trying to stay relevant in this whole thing. Because, like, yes, he's played a big part into onboarding a ton of people. He's been a really great asset as far as getting people to understand what this space is all about. But ultimately, Web3 is way bigger than Ben. Web3 is way bigger than any single person. Like we talked about Charles, it's way bigger than Charles. It's way bigger than any of those fancy people you saw on the interview screen. I mean, from John Woods to Lehman, like, yes, those guys are incredible, but crypto as a whole, Web3 is way bigger than all of them combined. So it's not a matter of will it be around, it's a matter of will they be around, will they stay relevant enough to, you know, continue to be a part of this.
And that plays into the projects as well. Like, you get a great project, but technology and demand and services and needs change, so you always have to be innovating and pushing forward.
You're absolutely right. You know, you're dead on about that. So, yeah, I mean, you might, and this is going back to what I was talking about with Charles, like the engagement farming. I don't look down on those things. Like, you have to stay relevant one way or another. And if the narrative is posting things about, oh, I was around when this was happening, who cares? Just do it. Like, it's not a big deal. Like, that tweet is going to be forgotten about in about, 12 hours. No one is ever going to see it again. Nobody's ever going to talk about it unless it's something controversial enough to where they're actually scanning all your Twitter feed to say, all right, was he racist at any point in time? Other than that, no one will ever see it again. It is the X timeline. It is literally just a timeline, and you get to see what's happening here now, and the past gets forgotten. So
yeah, it just gets covered up, and even when you try to go back, it's just buried too deep usually. So
yeah. So how do I say this? Like, there's hope. for you if you're trying to create good content. If you suck at it, that's okay. Hopefully tomorrow you don't. Keep at it. Keep
Hopefully tomorrow I don't.
Today, that's a different story.
Today is a different story, but Saturday might be my day.
Hey, who knows? And that's the thing. Keep at it, guys. And I say this more often than I should, but reach out if you need help. If you got questions like, how do I actually get into the space about creating content? Blah blah blah. Just reach out. Like, we are not out of reach, right? And I think that's the one thing that I am striving for, is regardless of how big or small the space or myself gets, I want to be here. I want to be here for everybody. I want to be here for the people that are actually trying to do good things, the people that are actually trying to build, people that are trying to get their voices heard. So yeah, I'd be more than thrilled to be a resource. My fee is very reasonable. The more I like you, the cheaper it is. And yeah, I mean, seriously, I want to see everybody win in the space. I want to see people grow. I want to see people just not only have a good time, but win while they're having a good time, because there is nothing like, not having to work a day in your life. Just simply just be around the people that you enjoy, to spend time with the individuals that matter to you. And if we can do that, if I can help more people get to that point in their lives, shoot, I'm a happy man. We talked about how it's not always rainbows and butterflies. I'll tell you, it's definitely not. But what is important here is that you can make a difference in a lot of other people's lives if you are creating content. That impact that you have, you're never going to hear from those people. You won't even know what kind of impact that you've had. So do everything that you possibly can, because ultimately that impact is real and it does make a difference. It does matter, and strive to be a better person tomorrow, man. Like that's where my heart's at. And I'm doing the best that I can at accomplishing that.
You're doing amazing, Action.
Oh, you're doing
Definitely
amazing. Chilling prop base on your hat.
I like the project. I like the hat.
Kev's got a little interview thing happening in like a day or two, so y'all should look out for that.
We have to watch that, yeah. And but I guess we're going to be closing this out, and we're at 88 flat on the Bitcoin. In about 2 hours, a little less than 2 hours, we will have this crypto summit, and I'm assuming we'll have some volatility. So everyone hold on, and we'll see what happens.
Hold on. If you feel like letting go.
I was going to say, if it was actually starting now, I was about to say, like, you pull up the browser and let's.
So right now, starting. It's Doodles giving away $500.
Oh, that's right. Doodles said he was doing his, there's a mint space and stuff. I'm going to pop in there in a few minutes and say what's up. And if you're all watching, jump in the space. Support those who support you. Look at giving back.
Yeah, it costs nothing for you to share the stream. It costs nothing for you to listen in, but you can get a lot from it. That's really what it boils down to. This is not a zero-sum game. People talk about, oh, you're just extracting value. No, this is not about extracting value. This is about everybody winning, because yes, that does exist, and hopefully all the advertisers on YouTube and X are the ones paying the bills. All right, I'm gonna put you on full screen. Send us off here, Scott.
Send us off. Everyone have a great day, great weekend. Make sure that you are subscribed, you reshare this, you like this. We will be back Monday at 9 a.m. Pacific time for another GM Live. We're going to be doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and we're going to start bringing on some guests, some alpha, and so you know what it is. Make sure to sub to Genzio on YouTube and on our X account. And we'll see you soon.
Hey, what's up?
But it's not something Genzio is afraid of.
If you want to survive, you got to build a hive.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Rebecca's Genzio Media House.
Awesome. Thanks so much for joining us today.